words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Om Sri Aurobindo mirror. Open my mind, my heart, my life to your light, your love, your power. In all things may I see the divine. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, Book 4, The Book of Birth and Quest, Canto 3, The Call to the Quest, page 423, last line. Escaped from surface sight and mortal sense, the ceasing harmony of its shapes became the strange significant icon of a power, renewing its inscrutable descent into a human figure of its works that stood out in life's bold, abrupt relief on the soil of the evolving universe, a Godhead sculptured on a wall of thought, mirrored in the flowing hours and dimly shrined in matter as in a cathedral cave. Annulled were the transient values of the mind, the body's sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met immortal in their gaze, awaked from the close spell of daily use that hides soul truth with the outward form's disguise. He saw through the familiar cherished limbs the greater and unknown spirit, born his child. An impromptu from the deeper side within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. Then to those large and brooding depths whence love regarded him across the straits of mind, he spoke in sentences from the unseen heights. A casual passing phrase can change our life, for the hidden prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas of a moment's mood to weigh unconscious lips with words from fate. O Spirit, traveler of eternity, who earnest from the immortal spaces here, armed for the splendid hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time, the moon shut in her hallowed dreams like thee. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Perhaps the heavens guard thee from some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down a star alone. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, taken from the collective works of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, Volume 35, Book Letters on Himself and the Ashram. Part 5, Mantras and Messages on Mantras. Page 825. Mantras in the Integral Yoga. And Lord Sri Aurobindo says the idea of your friend that it is necessary to receive a mantra from here and for that he must come is altogether wrong. There is no mantra given in this integral yoga. It is the opening of the consciousness to the Divine Mother from within. That is the true initiation, and that can come only by aspiration and rejection of restlessness in the mind and vital. Let me repeat. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says the idea of your friend that it is necessary to receive a mantra from here and for that he must come is altogether wrong. There is no mantra given in this integral yoga. It is the opening of the consciousness to the Divine Mother from within. That is the true initiation, and that can only come by aspiration and rejection of restlessness in the mind and the vital. To come here is not the way to get it. Many come and get nothing, or get their difficulties raised, or even fall away from the integral yoga. It is no use coming before one is ready, and he does not seem to be ready. Strong desire is not a proof of readiness. When he is inwardly ready, then there will be no difficulty about his coming. Lord Sri Aurobindo says, as a rule, the only mantra used in this sadhana is that of the Divine Mother or of my name, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo, and the Divine Mother. The concentration in the heart and the concentration in the head can both be used. Each has its own result. The first opens up the psychic being and brings bhakti, love, and union with the Mother, her presence within the heart, and the action of her force in the nature. The other, says our Lord, opens the mind to self-realization, to the consciousness of what is above mind, to the ascent of the consciousness out of the body, and the descent of the higher consciousness into the body. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, Om is the mantra, the expressive sound symbol of the Brahman consciousness in its four domains from the Turiya to the external or the material plane. The function of a mantra is to create vibrations in the inner consciousness that will prepare it for the realization of what the mantra symbolizes and is supposed indeed to carry within itself. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says the mantra Om should therefore lead towards the opening of the consciousness to the sight and feeling of the one consciousness in all material things, in the inner being and in the supraphysical worlds, in the causal plane above, now superconscient to us, and finally the supreme liberated transcendence above all cosmic existence. The last is usually the main preoccupation with those who use the mantra. In this integral yoga, says our Lord, there is no fixed mantra. No stress is laid on the mantras, although sadhaks can use one if they find it helpful or so long as they find it helpful. The stress is rather on an aspiration in the consciousness and a concentration of the mind, heart, will, and all the being. If a mantra is found helpful for that, one uses it. Om is, if rightly used, not mechanically, might very well help the opening upwards and outwards, the cosmic consciousness, as well as the descent. These words were given by our Lord on 16th October 1935. Question. I humbly request Sri Aurobindo to send me some Mula mantra which I can repeat in meditation and concentration as Namasmarana. Coming from the Divine Mother and Sri Aurobindo, it will have a potency to lead me quickly on the path. For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, we do not usually give any mantra. Those who repeat something in meditation call on the Divine Mother. Question. Is there any difference between the force that helps when I call the mother in sleep and the force that comes when I repeat Sri Aurobindo Mira? For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says there's not necessarily any difference of the force. Usually, the Divine Mother's name has the full power in it, but in certain states of consciousness, the double name may have a special effect. Question. I find no harm if I repeat the name of Sri Krishna, whose very being has taken the form of our Lord Sri Aurobindo and his Parashakti, the Divine Mother. For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says there is no harm in that. It is not incompatible or inconsistent with this yoga. Next subtopic. Traditional mantra japa. Question. In the Upanishads, Mandukya chiefly, the upasana of Om is recommended. It is said in the Pranava Upasana that the Pranava Deha or the Mantra Deha of Pranava Deva comes successively into the Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Deha of the Sadhaka. It projects itself into the Sadhaka first, then it engulfs him. It creates a divine rhythm and harmony and at last becomes one with every particle of his triple body, Sthula, Sukshma and Karana. Does this process include the transformation of the physical consciousness which Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga aspires to achieve? Or is it different? In what way does it differ? For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, I do not believe a mantra can change the physical consciousness. What it does, if it is effective, is to open the consciousness and bring it into the power of that which the mantra represents. Question. It is said that mantra japa leads to a certain mechanization of the sadhana as the sadhaka becomes dependent on nature to the extent that he has to awaken the mantra in order to touch and identify himself with the divinity. Is this charge against japa true? For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, it depends on the way in which the japa is done. If rightly done, the mantra is a means of opening to the light and knowledge, etc. from above, and it ceases as soon as that is done. It is a very good news that you got rid of the attack and it was the japa that helped you to do so. This and past experience also shows that if you can overcome the old association of japa with sterility and sorrow, it can do its natural functioning of creating the right consciousness. For that is what the japa is intended to do. It first changes the vibrations of the consciousness, brings into it the right state and the right responses, then brings in the power or the presence of the deity. Several times before you wrote to me that by doing japa you got rid of the old impulse and recovered calm and the right turn of the consciousness, and now it has helped you to get rid of the invasion of sorrow and despondency. Let us hope, says our Lord, that this last will also soon lose its strength like the impulse and calm and serenity and begin to establish itself in the whole nature. Sanskrit mantra. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. Sri Aurobindo wrote this mantra around 1927 as one of the several miscellaneous notations connected with records of yoga. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. Narayana Vedam Sarvam Narayana Param Narayana Param Brahmam Narayana Prayers for a sadhak. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says certain prayers for us. Deliver me from anger, ingratitude, and foolish pride. Make me calm, humble, and gentle. Let me feel your divine control in my work and in all my actions. I pray to be purified from self will and self assertion so that I may become docile and obedient to the Divine Mother and a fit instrument for her work, surrendered and guided by her grace in all I do. May I henceforth, with a firm determination, cast away from me my faults and defects, and may I do it with energy and perseverance till I succeed entirely. May I get rid of all arrogance, quarrelsomeness, self esteem, and vanity, disobedience and revolt against the Divine Mother, hatred and rancor against others, violence of speech and conduct, falsehood, self assertion and demand, discontent and grumbling. May I be friendly to all without malice against anyone. May I become a true child of the Divine Mother. Arnald Aurobindo says in the lesson of life that always in this world everything fails a man, only the divine does not fail him if he turns entirely to the divine. It is not because there is something bad in you that blows fall on you. Blows fall on all human beings because they are full of desire for things that cannot last and they lose them, or even if they get it, it becomes or brings disappointment and cannot satisfy them. To turn to the divine is the only truth in life. You must make grow in you the peace that is born of certitude of victory. Keep firm faith, says our Lord, in the victory of light and face with calm equanimity the resistance of matter and human personality to their own transformation. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, our blessings are with you always. Persevere and have full confidence. Blessings for the year. May all struggle cease and a quiet ascent begin. The time for your turning to the spiritual life depends upon your own aspiration. A sincere aspiration brings always its response, and if there is a continuity in the will, the result cannot fail. So the light grows always. As for the shadow, it is only a shadow and will disappear in the growing light. It is not a hope but a certitude that the complete transformation of the nature will take place. Keep faith, quietude, openness to the divine power. Ashirvada, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Prayers and Meditations, May 31st, 1914. When the sun set in the indrawn contemplation of the calm twilight, all my being prostrated itself before thee, O Lord, in mute adoration and complete self-giving. Then I was the whole earth, and the whole earth prostrated itself before thee, imploring the benediction of thy illumination, the beatitude of thy love. O the kneeling earth that supplicates to thee, then is ingathered in the silence of the night, waiting in both patience and anxiety for the illumination so ardently desired. If there is a sweetness in being thy divine love at work in the world, there is as great a sweetness in being the infinite aspiration which rises towards that infinite love. And to be able to change thus, to be successively, almost simultaneously, what receives and what gives, what transfigures and what is transfigured, to be identified with the painful darkness as with the all powerful splendor, and in this double identification, to discover the secret of thy sovereign unity. Is this not a way of expressing, of accomplishing thy supreme will? O sweet Master, my heart is a flaming chapel, and thou art seated there permanently like the sublimest of idols. So it is that thy form appears to me, clothed in magnificence, in the midst of the flames, consuming my heart for thee, and at the same time in my head. I see thee, know thee as the inconceivable, the unknowable, the formless, and in this double perception, this double knowledge lies the plenitude of contentment.